come out of your mouth, but only what is helpful for building others up according to their needs, that it may benefit those who listen. Friends, it is my joy and honor this evening to invite somebody who is not new to Family Life, who is not new to online church. She's one of the coordinators of Family Life, our very own Canon Dr. Ruth, to speak to us on the topic communication in marriage, a very important communication. So get your pens ready, get your notebooks, and tune your ears as we listen. Dr. Ruth, you are welcome. May the Lord use you this evening. Over to you, Doctor.
Thank you very, very much, David and Grace. Indeed, this is God's house. We welcome him and that he may be able to speak to us. We thank God for this day. Thank you, David and Grace, for being there for us all the time. You are always there, and we thank God for you. Let me just find my slides, share them. Okay, I hope you can see. So we are talking about communication in marriage. I thank God because God has given me long life in marriage, if I can say that. I've been married, this is my 41st year. We celebrated 40 years in April this year. We even look at ourselves and say, really, we have done that? So that journey sometimes may look like it's long, but it is, as you go on, it's not, doesn't look like you've been married for that long because it's interesting and it is fun and we thank God. But the biggest part of this whole thing, the one that holds it together, is communication. I'm a counselor by profession. That's what the trade that God gave me to do, the talent or that God has sent me to do. And I can say that in all the marriage counseling that I've done, the biggest problem that people come with into the counseling room is the lack of communication. And normally, as they are speaking, I put down communication as and highlight it and bold it and color it. Say there is a problem here. We need to really look at it. So it's nice to sit in a kind of classroom to learn about communication. And I hope by the end you'll be a better communicator. I will need you to 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 communicate with me, although now I haven't been able to find the chat room. So I don't know how that will happen. But maybe David will help me when it comes to that, to be able to read the comments that people are saying, because I can't see them. For some reason, I don't know where they are. But so let's begin with what I was good at. I was very good at what they call the three-legged race. Most people do it, primary school, universities, banks, they have this race. They tie you together with one left leg, right leg, and you're supposed to run the race. Maybe usually it's 100 meters. And the people who usually win the race are those that communicate. So you imagine if you are with a person and they, in the middle of running, they stop. What will happen to you? The other person will stop and also fall. What if the other person says, I'm tired of walking with you and I want to turn back and go back to my home? What will happen there? Okay? So it's so important to be able to walk. So we say when you're walking as a couple, you hold yourselves very tight, close to one another, and then you'll say, okay, which leg are we going to start with running? And you agree that the left or the right or this leg or the other, and then you say 1, 2, 3, let's go, 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 go. And then you say run faster. You're talking to each other, you're close to one another, because the tying of the leg is where the marriage has happened. Marriage has happened, and you are not about to untie that little string that is on your legs. You are going to run the race until it is over. And normally we give you about 80 years to run the race together. So for us, John and I, we have 40 more years to go. And so we are running, we are continuing the race, we are looking ahead and knowing that that is where we are going. So as we run, we also remind you, these are very foundational things. We also remind you that they are ingredients, they are things that we need. If you are going to cook chapati, you bring out the flour, the salt, the cooking oil, and put it out. And at the end of the day, you mix those things and you get chapati. Now, supposing you've forgotten the flour, even if you have the salt and the and the water and the milk or whatever oil you have, you will not get a chapati out of it because you don't have the flour. So these are the ingredients of the spousal relationship. First of all, it's important that you have left your father and mother, you have left any other relationship. You are cleaving, that means you are close to one another. You have decided that we are going to move forward together. I am coming with you and I'm not going back. And then the one flesh, which is the sexual relationship. So that's what the Bible says in Genesis 2, that you shall leave. 24 says, therefore you shall leave your father and mother, cleave to your wife, and you shall become one flesh. That's an ingredient. If you don't leave, you can't cleave. If you don't cleave, you can't become one flesh. Then there is love. There is acceptance. I accept this person. She may be big, small, tall, short, dark, what? Acceptance is important. Friendship, romance, my dear friends. Romance is also part of the story. And then it's also a give relationship. We like to talk about a give relationship because many people have expectations. I remember talking to someone and they gave me the expectations they had at their marriage, on their marriage day. Oh, he will do this, he will do that, he'll do that for me, he'll do that. And I said, listen to yourself. Who is going to do all those things? And she said, him. I said, exactly. That's why expectations become very difficult to deal with, because you are always looking at the other person, supposing the other person doesn't give you those things. So the give is that I am ready to give what I have. I may not get what I'm expecting, but I'm ready to give. So you are ready to give the love, you are ready to give the money, you are ready to give everything that you have to make this work. You are accommodative of that individual and also their uniqueness. You are also, you see here, communication comes in. You are communicating about everything. There is also honesty that has laid a trust foundation. There is respect. There is mutual appreciation. All these things are, by the way, in the Song of Songs. I like that Song of Songs because this man is talking about his wife and he knows every little bit about her. He knows the nose, how long it is, what it looks like. He knows the eyes, he knows the mouth, he knows the teeth. He knows the neck, how long it looks and what it looks like. He knows the breasts. Some of the people in marriage don't even know what the breasts look like because they've never looked. So it's important to know and appreciate. What do you appreciate about your person? There's a game they usually play, and we talk about it quite often. They put a curtain. You can't see who is behind the curtain, and only the feet are showing. So they come and ask the men, please go and find your wife's feet. And the men cannot find their wife's feet. Sometimes they say, please give me a clue. Cough, cough, so that I can hear you cough, so that I know you are the one behind here. And sometimes they grab somebody's foot and it's not their wife's foot. So it's so important for us to be able to know and appreciate our persons. Conflict resolution is part of communication. I'll be talking a little bit about it. We are supposed to develop each other's uniqueness and talents and interests. So we are not just thinking about ourselves. We are also thinking about, she came when she didn't have this, what can I do to add to that to them? We are team, especially that three-legged race. if you see that picture up there, we are a team and we are winning together. When we lose, we lose. When we win, we win. There's no winner, there's no loser, but all of us are going together. And then we are supportive, and then there is also sexual delight. So those are just the beginning, because I didn't want to talk about communication in marriage when I haven't given you some of the foundational things that we normally talk about when it comes to marriage. So now I want to tell the story, and this is where David is going to help me. I'm going to tell this story, and at the end of the story, I'm going to ask you, what could they have done differently to avert or to reduce the risk? I think David is the risk person in the bank or something. Are you, David? So risk aversion. And so Mr. Mukasa married Mrs. Mukasa, but he had found her at first with a boyfriend living in Wandegea. And so this Mrs. Mukasa had got saved and left the boyfriend and married Mr. Mukasa. I hope that is clear. Okay, so she had lived with a boyfriend in Wandegea at one point, but now they are married, Mr. Mukasa and Mrs. Mukasa, and they have a child. And this is their routine. They wake up in the morning, the husband goes to work, and the wife stays at home. They agreed that she stays at home and takes care of the child. But she has a phone, she has a computer, she has a phone which is hooked up somewhere in the sitting room. She has all the gadgets that you need for communication. So they communicate a lot. At about 5:30, the husband comes home, they sit down to a cup of tea. At about 8 p.m., then they have their supper, and then they go to sleep. There's a prayers there and everything. There's a routine. So one day, Mrs. Mukasa's friend calls her at around 11 a.m. and says, Mrs. Mukasa, can you please come and help me? I need someone to sit in my shop. I don't want to close it. I've lost someone. I'm going for a burial. Do come and sit in from 11 to about 3. I'll be back by 3 p.m. Oh, Mrs. Mukasa said, no problem. So she told her house help that she was going to Wandegea. So she left and went to Wandegea. And she sat there in the shop until about 3. And her friend called again and said, I'm so sorry, I've got a flat tire. I can't make it back at 3 as I had thought. Said, oh, okay, no problem. I'm sitting here. No problem. Comes to 5, comes to 6, comes to 7 p.m., comes to 8 p.m. until 9 p.m. And so at 9 p.m., she comes home, they close the shop, and she drops her back home at 9 p.m. Meanwhile, the husband, Mr. Mukasa, has come home as usual at 5:30. And at 5:30, she finds the wife is not home. So she asks the house help, where is Mrs. Mukasa, mommy? He said, oh, she said she had gone to Wandegea. He said, Wandegea? To do what? She said she didn't tell me, but she went to Wandegea. Now, in his head, Mr. Mukasa, the Wandegea he's thinking about is the boyfriend. Come 9 o'clock, he's so annoyed, he's so frustrated, he's so angry, he doesn't want to talk anymore. So Mrs. Mukasa walks in at 9 p.m. and says, hello, Mr. Mukasa. Mr. Mukasa is no longer doing what? Talking. Because he assumes that this lady has been where? Someone in Wandegea. So the wife also shrugs her shoulders. You know how you shrug your shoulders and you're like, I don't care. Whether he doesn't say hello, I don't care. So they go to sleep that day, not talking. But the husband doesn't talk for a long time because he's annoyed. And he says, she thinks I also can't get someone. So he starts coming back at 8, at 9, at midnight. He puts in some drinking a little bit. Sometimes he comes home, sometimes he doesn't come home. And in the process, he gets a mistress. And in the process, he gets a child. So you imagine Mr. and Mrs. Mukasa now coming to Mrs. Senyonyi and sitting in front of me in my counseling office. So I say, what is the matter? Oh, Mr. Mukasa says, this woman is a very bad woman. Imagine she did this. Mrs. Mukasa opens her eyes wide and said, what? I did not do anything like that. That day, this is what I did. This is what I went to. This is what I... And Mr. Mukasa was like, what? So my question is, how could they have averted that trouble? On that very day, when Mrs. Mukasa went to Wandegeya, what are some of the things that they could have done to make sure that they avoid those happenings that happened much later? David, are you listening?
Yes, I am. I'm just waiting for the comments, but I see one in the chats. Mrs. Mukasa did not tell her husband about where she was going. Mr. Mukasa had trust issues. He's insecure. He still thinks the wife cannot settle. Then 3, Mr. and Mrs. Mukasa should have had a better conversation on that day.
Okay.
Then another comment from Anita says Mr. Mukasa should have informed her husband. Mrs. Mukasa should have informed her husband before leaving home, explained why she was going to Wandegeya. Then another one says Mr. Mukasa would have asked for details and explanations as well. Those
I
are the 3
like that
comments
one.
we have. Yeah.
He should have, as many people don't get Mr. Mukasa's part. So we'll start with Mrs. Mukasa. What are some of the things she could have done? Thank you so much for those comments. I'm sure there are going to be more. But what could have Mrs. Mukasa done on that day? Remember, she has a phone, she has a computer, she has a Gmail, she has all kinds of things. She could have sent a message to the husband and said, guess what? And it's not even asking for permission. Sometimes people say, oh, she should have asked for permission. Maybe it wasn't even asking for permission. It was letting him know, I have left the house and I'm going to Wandegeya to do ABCD, to sit in shop number 204 of my friend in Wandegeya because ABCDE. So Mr. Mukasa would have been informed, would have known that honestly she has gone to do this. Then at 3 o'clock, she would have also sent another message and said, guess what? She has a flat tire. You can even put humor in it. Can you imagine? I won't have tea with you today because Mrs. So-and-so has got a flat tire. I'm sitting here in her shop. I don't even know how to close it. And she could have even said, Mr. Mukasa, please come and sit here with me and pick me up. Maybe we wait for her together. Yeah, that could have averted so many things. And then, of course, let me see if I can. And then, of course, Mr. Mukasa, I like the person who said he should have asked. I mean, we called in at lunchtime and said, Madam, are you okay? She said, guess what? I forgot to call you, but I'm in Wandegeya. Wandegeya, you're doing what? She didn't call in. He comes back at 5, he didn't call her. He didn't ask. He comes back at 9, he's quiet. She has already made up his mind. And many of us in marriages make up, make up stories in our heads. We are like, okay, I've made up the story and I know it is true. She can't have been anywhere else except with the boyfriend. And so you become so annoyed, and yet you don't even know why you are annoyed. Okay, so he should have asked, yeah, so that he is able to explain. Okay, now I've been able to get the communicate. Communication should start from home with the maid. Mrs. Mukasa should have apologized in the evening when she came back in case she forgot to tell him earlier. Yes, instead of shrugging her shoulders and saying, she should have explained to him. And even if he feels like his ears are closed, cannot hear, you talk and say, let me explain, my dear. I don't want to hear. No, you have to hear. I apologize because I didn't tell you where I was, and it's so
Praise the Lord, Uncle David. I think we have lost.
I got off. I'm sorry, I don't know why. My internet is quite okay, so I don't know why it went off. But okay, I'm back. So that is Mr. Mukasa's story. Thank you so much, all of you who are able to tell me some of the things that are happening. So when we come to communication, at least we know that communication then is a connection. When you don't connect, then you don't connect, and everything can go wrong. Communication is the passing on and receiving of information. I pass on and I receive. And it's a journey in which we discover each other. It's also a process whereby information is packaged and channeled and imparted by a sender to receive via some kind of medium. The receiver then decodes the message and gives feedback. The meaning is given by the sender, not the receiver. So me, I have a message that I'm going to send. I know what I want. I know my intention. I know how I've packaged it, and I want it to send it to the person who's going to receive it. They should be able to receive it as I have given it. Sometimes it's misunderstood, so I have to make sure that what I'm sending is clear and is clearly understood. There are many, many modes of communication. It can be auditory, that is verbal. You speak, you sing, the tone of voice, you know. I can say I love you, or I can say I love you. That is the tone of voice. I might say it and you're not convinced. The tone of voice might not let you're convinced. It can be non-verbal, that is wordless, where you are using body language. If I clap my hands, if I say come here, if I say you know, you can understand. So body language, sign language, touch. People, I want you to be able to use touch as a mode of communication every single day. Touch each other, non-sexual touch. Reach out when you are happy and touch. Reach out when you see that somebody is not happy and touch. Reach out when you come back from home and touch. That is all communication. Your facial expression and sometimes written is all wordless. So we need to be able to listen. We need to be able to sometimes you can use media, pictures, graphics, sound, and writing. All that is in there. And then in the non-verbal, we also have aesthetic or creative expressions, playing musical instruments, dancing, painting, sculptures, signs and symbols, and all that is non-verbal. So effective communication is when your spouse needs to receive what was intended to be sent. So it has to be clear. Therefore, send what you mean. You know, this is very common for young women, for women, not even young women. We kind of speak sarcastically, even to our children. I remember seeing a WhatsApp and the mother was saying, I told you to bring the water long, long time ago. Then they asked him, so mommy, what shall we do with the water? Then she told them, pour it on my head. And the children got the water and poured it on her head. She was speaking sarcastically, and the young boys just took it literally. So try to be clear. Don't speak in parables. Don't speak in things that you don't mean. That do you want to maybe to have an intimate moment right now? And for you, you respond, no. But inside your heart, you're like, yes, that's what I want. Just say it. Okay? There are some barriers sometimes that come in our communication so that it's not clear, so that we don't understand it. Sometimes it's unsuitable atmosphere. Maybe you are at a wedding. You are speaking at your daughter's wedding. Yeah? You are standing in front there with the microphone. Then this one comes and tells you, you know, something that is really not nice. in front of everybody, it's a very unsuitable atmosphere. Sometimes your husband may be tired coming back from work and you're trying to communicate to him. He may not be able to understand you. Sometimes there is sin. Sometimes there is distractions or the way you are positioned physically. And then we are supposed to also communicate the deep things like feelings and dreams. Today I dreamt like this, and the other day I was feeling like this. So, and then there is also repentance and forgiveness in there. So this is something that we talk about a lot with my husband. We've given them some new names, but it is a communication language. They are called levels of communication. It's important that you are able in your marriage to reach all the levels. But many times we usually stop at level 2 because level 2 is easy. Let me just run through them very quickly so that you may know what I'm talking about. The first level is called the taxi talk, where you just greet and you talk and you say hello. So in Uganda especially, they teach you that you should always welcome your husband back and greet him in the morning. Say, wasuzotya no sebo, kulikayo sebo, wasuzotya no. So some of you may be at that level where you are doing it very well, but that's all you do. That's not enough. The next one is sharing information. It's called accident talk. You know, you are reporting. I went to work, there were 10 people, I met an accident, then I came back, then I sat down, then I got up. You know, it's just sharing information. There is no intimacy at all. I can give this info, I can do these two things with my house help, with my shamba boy, with the boda man, with the taxi man, you know. So it's not very intimate, but it's important also to have. The third area is where people struggle. It's called the political talk. Political talk is where you are coming out of your shell, where you are revealing a little bit more of yourself, where you are bringing out your political ideologies. This is what I prefer. This is what I want. This is what I don't want. These are my ideologies. These are my things. This is what my opinion. And usually I call it political talk. Why? Because, you know, it's like having NRM, UPC, and NUP and FDC. All of those are different colors. You have yellow, red, blue, and green. All of them. And they have different ways of looking at things. So NRM may say this and NUP will say the other, opposing. So that's what normally happens in marriage. This is the difficult part. And so when people start clashing and arguing and not agreeing because my opinion is different from the other, they usually slide back to level 2. Say, okay, he doesn't want me to build my mother's house in the village. Okay, it's fine. Let him stay there, up there by himself. Me, I'm going to do it anyway. I'll just be giving him just small information, which doesn't even reveal that I'm doing something. So he asks, how is your mother? Oh, she's okay. She actually got pressure. We took her to the hospital today, but you are not talking about the house because it brought argument the other time and you move away. And of course, we told you if you don't communicate, then some of the things that you are doing, it brings mistrust. So that's where it begins. People pull back and stop talking and just do the necessary things, the non-intimate things. Now, intimacy begins at level 3. So when you finish clashing and doing what, you can then now share emotions. If you don't get to level 3, you can't get to level 4. That's where I'm able to say, you know, today I'm so hurt. Today I'm so disappointed. Today I'm so embarrassed. Today I'm so happy. These are my dreams. I want to become the next president. I want to become the professor. I want to get money like this. I want to build this, and can't come. And then the level 5, I like the level 5, is called the gut level sharing. If I'm drinking something like I drink now, I hear it going down maybe up to the level of the neck. And when it gets somewhere in the chest, I don't feel the water going down anymore. It's going somewhere in my tummy, but I don't know exactly where it's going. So those are the deep things in your marriage which you need to be able to share. Maybe you stole 100 million from your workplace. That's the thing you need to talk about with your husband, with your wife. Maybe you looked with a lustful eye today at your secretary and you're even scared for yourself and you're like, what am I doing? Come back and tell your wife. Maybe someone called you and sent you pictures that were not very nice. Show them to your wife. That is transparency. That is gut level sharing. That is deep, deep sharing. So I hope that helps. Where are you? This will show you how deep you are in communication. If you are on level 2, you are not doing well. You need to improve and get to all the areas. If you come sometimes to level 5 and sometimes back to level 2, that is where you should be. That is okay, but you should be able to share your whole everything. It builds the trust levels very well. Now, it's also important to know that we have differences in male and female in the way we communicate. You can see right there. The man speaks much less. The woman speaks 3 times more than the man. So here I am. I also found out, I get to bed when we used to be with our friends in dormitories. We would talk until 3 a.m. Talk. I don't even know what we're talking about. Now it comes to being in you want to talk like you talked before, and the husband is like, I'm not talking, I'm going to sleep. The bed was meant to sleep, not to talk. So you get your first shock. Many women get a big shock when they think they are married. Now we are going to talk. We are going to talk and finish all that talk. And the man says, I'm not listening, sorry. So you get shocked. So you need to know these differences so that they don't shock you. Men find it difficult to expose their mistakes or to admit to them and their fears and their weaknesses. And yet women admit their mistakes and seek help quite faster than men. Women do not want solutions to their crisis. So when they come with something that, something has happened at the office, don't start telling them, for you, because you didn't do this, you need to do this. They don't want solutions to their crisis. And then they state facts more than emotions. And while women, it is more of involving emotion. So there's someone who said that women speak, whatever they do, they speak with a lot of emotions, like having electricity passing through every word that is coming out of them. So we involve emotions. So the man is looking at the factual and the woman is like so emotionally taken by everything. Then the man communicates through words and the woman communicates a lot through action. So those are some of the differences you should be aware of so that when you start communicating, you don't get into trouble. There are few benefits of communication. I will not run through them all. You avoid misunderstanding, you gain respect, you build trust. It is time-saving. You understand yourselves better. You enhance marital satisfaction. You grow together. You learn new things together. You are healthier together. So there are so many advantages. These are only 10, and I'm sure there are more than that. Now, I like the other part of communication. They are called types of communication. The others were levels. Now we go to the types. So there's an expert called Dr. Amy Bellows. This is what they said. Communication is the motor that holds a relationship together. If it breaks down, the relationship will crumble. When spouses no longer communicate, a marriage nurtures no one. It is no longer a marriage. And it is true. As I told you that the many marriages that I deal with in counseling, when there is no communication, then there is no longer a marriage. Usually the sexual area breaks down completely because he doesn't know now how to approach this woman who is not talking, and everything goes quiet. So there are type 1 of communication. We call them informal conversations. So they come back, how was your day? My husband just came back from Nairobi today, and I have to ask him, how was it? Although we've been talking on phone, that's the good thing. How is it? Where are you sleeping? How is it? What star is it? We give it half a star, 1 star, 4 stars, you know. Informal conversations about, you know, we call it small talk. This establishes simple connection with each other. So you need to keep that simple talk. It's very similar to what I said at the beginning, that it is like taxi talk. You need to keep in touch. The second one, which I love most, is called the administrative meetings. Many of you do not like to have these meetings. We call them business meetings. They even have action items. You can even have an agenda. You can even have minutes from the last minute if you want. Okay? What are we going to do? What appointment do we have? What financial decisions are we making? So this is operational. It helps us move into what we want to do. We ensure that your lives, your family, your people, everything is operating smoothly. So we need to have them from time to time. Do you have business meetings? You have a plot of land. Some people don't want to discuss these things. They keep it in their heads. And yet it is time for us to know that when you are married, you cannot keep things in your head. You have to put them out so that the other person can also process them with you. So if you have a piece of land and you want to do something to it, talk about it. I would like to build a block of flats, and the other one says, but the block of flats cannot fit there, my dear. Okay, then let's think about, so it becomes administrative. You talk about children going to school. I would like my child to go to Kampala Parents, and it's like, you know how much they pay in Kampala Parents? They pay 2 million. So what do you have the 2 million for the 4 children? That is 2, 4, 6, 8 million per term. Do you have that money? It's an administrative meeting. And eventually you come up with conclusions. And then we have a third one where we have challenges and conflicts. 1 Corinthians 7:38 is very interesting. It says, but those who marry will face many troubles in this life. You know, when you are married, you face many things. There are challenges, there are conflicts. There are times you don't see eye to eye. So talk about your troubles. Are they big? Are they small? If you don't talk about them, they'll grow into a mountain and it will be too high to go over it. So listening is the first step you do, and then you are able to deal with the challenges there. And then the fourth type is what we have, what we call life-giving conversations, you know? So type 4 is proactive. It helps you to know your wife better and strengthen your bond. Be playful, be affirming. Tell them that, wow, you're a good speaker. Like Grace now, David, you know, tell her how good a singer she is. And today you didn't sing with her, but you know, they know how to sing together. And this one puts in alto, I think it is, what? She puts in something, and this one sings soprano, and you hear such a good melody. Go back and say, wow, you guys are so good here. You are so good there. Be curious and ask questions. Ask questions you've never asked before, you know? You just spend maybe 10 minutes a day talking about meaningful things, life-giving conversations, you know? I like the way you preach, you know, some of our people are preachers. I like that, you know? For me, I like the Easter preaching. I've been married to John for 40 years, but each Easter message I have never heard. He has these amazing, I don't know where he gets them from and how he comes up with them. And I'm like, wow, I've never ever seen anything like that. So what is it that we communicate about? I think those 4, let me not run from them very quickly, but remember the 4 things there. The first one was informal conversations. Second one was administrative meetings. Third one, challenges and conflicts. And the third one, life-giving conversations. So then you ask, so what are we communicating about? You say communicate. What are we communicating about? So we have family issues, we have finances, sexual, sin, addictions, flirtations, criminal offenses. Don't leave out anything. Maybe they've abandoned children. Maybe the sexual obligations, the future. There are many things. I could list them. And I'm just going to talk about just a few. For example, finances is a big one. After communications, normally there is finances. And here we tell people, be open about your income, about your expenditure, about your loans, about your defaults. What did you say when you came to marry this person? You said, I give you everything that I own. But I find that in the counseling room, you ask them, how do you keep your money? And they're, oh, she has her own account. I don't even know how much she gets. Oh, he keeps his own money. Me, and he's the one who pays everything. For me, this is my own money. So there is a saying that when before marriage, 100% is for the man, 100% is for the woman. When you get married, 100% is for both of you, and 100% is for the woman. I don't know why we are so selfish as women when it comes to money. Some of it is because of our traditional backgrounds. We come with things that, a woman's money is your money. Keep it to yourself. Buy your own shoes. Don't let the man jump over you. He might marry another woman. Manang, we better be careful as Christians when it comes to money. It's supposed to be shared money. We thank God for us. We have a joint account from when we got married to date. We have accounts and they are all joint. I can get money from there. He can get money from there. But there's a lot of discussion also about the money. Who draws the budget? Who buys? How much do you earn? Formal and informal, because there's that formal which comes through the bank. Then there's this informal where you are paid from somewhere else. Maybe you are getting some other money from somewhere and you don't talk about it. Who does what about money? Who keeps? Who goes to the bank? Who pays the school fees? They used to ask us, so who between you and him, who paid the school fees? And we're like, we look at each other and we're like, we don't know. Why? Because we put the money together and then pay for whatever we have to pay, including our shoes, including our suits that we buy, including eyeglasses, including, you might have petty cash, little cash to be able to deal with things where you don't have to explain yourself. You are passing by, you are buying greens. I don't have to say, darling, can I buy greens with the money that? No, you have some money to use for buying hankies, for sending. Your singer has come to visit you, you give her money to go back home. So it's important to communicate about finances. What are we buying? We have been talking about what we buy in this house, whether it's sofa sets, whether it's television, and it goes down to our clothes, whether it is shoes, whether it is, we communicate. It's important to communicate. How much am I getting? How much am I expending? Do I have any loan? Can we take a loan? Have I defaulted on paying the loan? What house have I put into the loan? All those things have to come out. Then we come to another area. I may not go into depth about it, but it's another area that brings a lot of problems. So the first one that brings problems is finances. The next one that brings a problem is sex matters. People believe that sex is so sacred, you cannot talk or discuss anything about it. So it's important to find out these things. For example, who is supposed to request for sex? There are people who come believing that as a woman, I can never, they even tell you, put water in your mouth and don't say anything. That's what you've been told. So some of these traditional things come in and ruin our Christian values. So who is supposed to request for sex? When are we supposed to have sex? How are we supposed to have sex? Now, if you don't have administrative meetings over this thing, it becomes very difficult because the guy might come and speak in a way you don't like. Maybe he's a Mchiga and he's like, Gwiwe, Kai, Kuja, Janku. I've even forgotten how to speak Ruchiga. Iwe, And you're like, how can he even say Iwe when he's going to do this? And you get annoyed. But have you ever told him that that's not the way you want it to be done? Now, when it comes to expressing dissatisfaction, how do you express dissatisfaction about the sexual matters? Maybe your husband is doing things you don't like. That's communication. What about if adultery comes into the home, infidelity? What do you do? What if you find your husband or wife watching pornography? And I'm telling you, there are some reverends who keep teaching in marriage conferences that it's okay to spice up your marriage by watching porn. No, the pornography we shall talk about another day, but please do not bring it into your sexual matters. And if it is there, talk about it as sin. There are those who are having sexual addictions. These are things to talk about. So it's just important. Talk about them. Another area that I would like to talk about is to deal with sin, any sin, past or present, visible or invisible. And this one, I like to tell the story of a person. John is the one actually who, my husband is the one who, when he's preaching, he tells this story that there was a man who had a big house and he sold it. But he said, I am not selling the nail in the sitting room. It is mine. And the man said, me, I'm buying the house. You can keep the nail. So the first day they sold the house, he came and put his coat on the nail and said, Mister, this is my sitting room. How can you put your dirty coat in the sitting room? The next day he killed an animal and left it there for a week and said, why, how? Said, it is my nail. So we say, remove anything where the devil can hang their things. Okay, when you have come to the Lord, come clean. Don't leave any nail hanging for Satan to come and put anything for you. Whether the sin is visible, whether it's invisible, whether it is unknown by your spouse, please deal with it. Whether it's unchecked sin, those things of attitude, sensitivity. How can he tell me that I'm so sensitive? Anything, sometimes we dwell on our spouse's sins and we're like, he's so sinful. Dwell on your own sin and deal with it. Sometimes it's adultery and sexual sin. And Hebrews 12:1 tells us, throw off the sin that easily entangles and run with determination the race that is before you. So identify sin, repent daily, because blessed are those that are pure in heart. Now, my time is over, so I'm going to stop here, and maybe we can handle conflict at another time. But I want to say thank you very much for listening in to me, and may God help you as you learn to communicate. It is 8 p.m., so I will end here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ruth. The chat room was buzzing and buzzing. Interesting comments, interesting thoughts. Yeah, but there was a question. What happens? They said, like you said, that men rarely apologize. Should I just move on like that each time he has hurt me with no apology at all? Because I feel like this makes one resentful. Then another question, maybe I give you the second one. One at a time?
Yeah, let me answer that one straight away. You say sorry and he doesn't say anything. He continues doing the same thing. Now, when we talk about the give theory, if you remember what I talked about, those principles at the beginning, give theory, we are supposed to give and give and give. And each day you are giving 100%. Now, many times when we give, we expect the other person to do the same. But many times they are not going to do exactly what you want them to do. So as Christians, you forgive. As Christians, you do what you have to do every single day. I will not have any complaint from God about me because I said, he refused to apologize. Okay, even me, I'm not going to apologize. See, that's where trouble begins. Or he refused to talk to me, I'm also not going to talk to him. And like Mr. Mukasa, same thing will happen. You find that you are in trouble and you don't exactly know what to do about it. So it's just important to, when you need to apologize, you apologize. If he has not apologized, it's time for you to pray. But you can also have some conflict, what did we call it? Conflict meetings, and say, I need to talk to you because I've apologized 10 times. You are not doing anything about it. I think it's time for you to do about it. If he doesn't listen, look for a counselor and get help. So many times what people do, this is how they end up. They become CIDs. So let's take, for example, that I discover that the husband has another woman that he's communicating with on the phone. Let's say they are sending text messages that are not so nice. And one day I fall on it and I'm like, oh, what is he doing? And then I say, okay, I'm not going to let him know, but let me get somebody from outside, from MTN, and I'm going to be getting whatever he's sending, I will know. So you go, you spend money, you go, you waste a lot of time. Instead of just going to the man and saying, sir, I have discovered that this is what you are doing. We need to deal with it. This is a family issue. Family meeting, let's sit and decide what's going to happen. Because then you are bringing this person back into your life. Communication is life. But if you stop and start going behind his back and finding out, 1 year later you tell him, now I know you have this woman, you have been sleeping with them for a whole year. What help does that do for you? It doesn't help you at all. You are destroying your marriage when you are looking like this. So you better deal with issues as soon as you see them. The two of you say, Mister, I've known you are watching porn. And Mrs. Senyonyi told us watching pornography is not good. You need to stop. How can I help you to stop? Yeah, so that one is answered. You can ask another one, David.
Yeah, thank you. Then again, same voice. What happens if each idea you bring is poured on cold water? Please don't say keep bring. Please don't say keep. Please don't keep bring it up. We have already done that. We have already been there. We have already done that. Then what?
Well, it depends on what the cold water looks like and why, sometimes there are things you have to let go. So sometimes it's a clue for you that that one is not going to pass. It's okay. It may come later, 2 years, 3 years later. Sometimes you have to just say, I give that one up. At times, you may have to change that cold water into warm water, praying about it, making sure you can write to him. We use a lot of written in our relationship, John and I, because we started out when he was in Australia and I was in Uganda. So we wrote a lot of letters. So sometimes when I'm trying to explain to him, and both of us are very very argumentative and very, sometimes. So sometimes you're trying to explain to him something and he's not understanding it and he's pushing it the other way and he's doing it the other way. And I'm also pushing it this way and I'm also saying, so I'm like, this is not going to work. So I get my pen and we say paper, not WhatsApp, but paper, and write what we call a love letter. So I'm going to explain everything on paper, but first by affirming that you are important to me. I love you. You are important to me. But now here is, we were talking about this morning, and I felt that you didn't understand what I was saying. So this is what I meant. This is how so I put it properly. So he gets the letter. We usually leave it in a place where he can see it, either on his desk, on his computer, somewhere I know he will definitely come. And he finds it and he reads it, he underlines, he looks at it, he highlights, and then gets time and also responds to me. So that by the time we get back together, we now understand where we are coming from and what we meant to say. It is clearer. So letter writing is also another thing that you can use. Sometimes, let me give an example. not of myself, but of things that can happen. For example, I want to buy a plot of land, and this person is pouring hot, cold water all the time. So do I go ahead and buy it? I might go ahead and buy it, but I'm not going to do it without saying that I'm doing it. So I might say, you do not want me to do it, but I have made up my mind that this is important for us now and for the future. So you are not making up your mind fast enough. So I am going ahead and I'm going to do it. Don't do it in secret, but make sure that the person knows that you have gone ahead. Yes, didn't agree, but, and that's maybe what I'll talk about next time when we talk about conflict management and working in those difficult situations.
Thank you, Doctor. There is what is the it is to what extent is overcorrecting somebody a problem to them? Like, I don't know if the question is clear, that every time they are correcting you, they are correcting you. There's that one.
Yeah, that's a problem, because remember that the ingredients that we talked about, the ingredients are of love and acceptance. So many times the overcorrecting comes out of the fact that I don't like you as you are. I want to tweak you into what I want. And if you've come with that agenda, we usually say to people who are getting married, we say, if you've come with an agenda to change your spouse, you are in trouble, because that's a very, very difficult thing to do. So you get the person as is, and you love them as they are, whether they are too fat. But each day, if you're saying, Gwe, when are you going to become smaller? Gwe, when are you going to become bigger? You are not woman enough. You are not man enough. Those are things that do not work. So avoid overcorrecting. If you've said it once, twice, start praying about it. Bring it up again and put it in a meeting and say, there's something that I'm talking about. I don't seem to get through to you. I don't know why. And maybe they can explain what their perspective is. So you can see it's still all communication. It's still all to do with communication.
Dr. Ruth, somebody says it's hard to share information about finances with someone, some partners, with some partners, because they are plainly bad with money. And if you declare, they may squander the little that you may have saved. I wonder what
Sure.
can be, I wonder how that can be handled.
Yeah, because when you are alone, when you are a person who is handling your own money, some people are so good at keeping money. They're accountants, they know, they plan three months ahead, they have saved money for this. Then you get married to someone who has no idea what saving is, and you are in the same account. You put your 10 million, she takes 8 million out tomorrow, and you ask her, where is the 8 million? She said, nah, I don't know. So they are careless with money. So it's another meeting. What are we going to do? Now, when we talk about finances, we do not say that you have to do what I did. You don't have to have a same account, because yours might not work. You might have different accounts, but you need to be open. What is the openness there? Do I know what you earn even if I don't see it in the account? Do I know what you are going to contribute to the family? Do I know what you are, the extra money you got yesterday, even if I have not seen it in the account? So you come to a conclusion and say, we started out as people who are working together, but it didn't work. You have another meeting of finance and say, now we are separating accounts, okay? You have the building account, I'll have the family home account. After 2 years, you have 3 children, and the family home account cannot take care of the children and the food, and you have to come back again and discuss. So there is no one big way to do this. Some people are really terrible with money. You have to talk about it. You can't just say, let me leave her because she's my wife. You say, my dear, I put 10 million, 8 is missing. So I'm closing the joint account. and I'm starting mine, you are starting yours. Is that okay? But we need to know who is going to do what. So there are many ways. There's not one direct way, but be open.
Thank you, Dr. Ruth. I think maybe just one or two more, but some comments that have come through are thank yous from the team. Somebody called Stephen said the Bachiga are actually very romantic. Yes, and a good number of people agreed and teased them a bit, but so many flowers coming through. Thank you very much. This is a very
Let me
important
tell you
topic.
about the Bachiga.
Yes.
One time we told one Muchiga man and said, give your wife a hug, and said, why? Huh? Why should I give them a hug? When I married them, isn't that enough?
Yeah.
I apologize if I have that, but yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. And
Half
all of our
of it,
Chiga friends, we love you. We love you so
we
much.
love you. We
Somebody has
love
said
you.
that the best fellowship I have ever attended this year. So informative. Thank you, Dr. Ruth. Others are calling you Dr. Kaka and all those things. But somebody asked the question that if Mrs. Mukasa, my Mrs. Mukasa is cheating on me, and denies me, what is masturbation a sin as an option?
We don't encourage masturbation in marriage at all, because it does the same thing that pornography does. It's like you keep to yourself now. Is that you got married? So why did you get married? Even if you have HIV, I work with HIV, Uganda AIDS Commission, and we still, even married people, we talk to them and talk to them about how to do these sexual things, even when they are HIV positive. So it's better to address the infidelity and walk through it and work through it, rather than deny yourselves having the sexual pleasure. Because some of you are so scared. They said, she's going out, let her. You even give her in and say, you go with your men. Let's be careful about the words we say. That's communication. We say, she has a man and a man outside. You go. And the things we say when they come to counseling, said, she told me to go with that man, and that's what I'm doing. So please don't just be protective with your husband, with your wife. Watch over them, look out for them. Don't let them go astray. Don't get into situations of masturbation, of pornography, of sex toys. That's not Christian. That's not what the Lord wants us to do in our marriages. Thank you.
Dr. Ruth, we thank you. I see a reverend on the call, Reverend Richard. Somebody can, Sharon, please make Reverend Richard a co-host. Maybe you can pray for us, so that we can relieve Dr. Ruth a bit. Dr. Ruth, we appreciate the conversation. It has been a beautiful conversation. We have learned a lot. Friends who have not picked this, please, it's on YouTube. Feel free to get it. It's we have posted the link in the chat and share it with your friends. I am definitely going to be using this also for my other notes as well. Thank you, Dr. Ruth. Rev, are you on now? I saw Rev. Reverend Richard, are you able to unmute and give us a closing prayer and a blessing?